good, Italian Job.
I'm feeling good, Tommy boy. How are you, brother?
I'm looking forward to the week ahead. There's a lot going on this week. We'll dive into that in just a second, but we had a big day here in Natville. 50 folks from across the Triad area came in and joined us for our 5th annual Cross Ruck, where we observed some of the concepts around Good Friday in the Christian religion. It's one of the most impactful events that we do, and I hear that more often from folks who experience the F3 definition of faith, which is just something bigger than themselves. And we threw it together this week. Shout out to my friend JR, who pushed me to say yes to doing it. And we quickly found a handful of guys to volunteer and lead for us. And SkyQ took over from there. So it's a great day, and I have nothing to complain about, and nor should I. So awesome. How about you?
Well, we've mentioned kind of before we even hit record, it's Holy Week, and Holy Week, we subscribe to the Christian faith, and Holy Week really involves a lot of things going on during the Passover. Last night was Maundy Thursday, and Maundy Thursday is in celebration of the Last Supper that Jesus had with his disciples. And I didn't realize it, but the word Maundy comes from the Latin word meaning commandment, and it refers to Jesus's commandment that he gave to his brothers, his friends, where he said, "Love one another as I have loved you." And so last night was my daughter's first communion. And our church, you have to be a certain age and understand what communion means and what it represents. And last night was my daughter's first communion, which was a big deal. Today is Good Friday, and you've kind of mentioned the Cross Ruck. And tomorrow is Saturday, silence, not much going on Saturday. And then Sunday is Resurrection Sunday. It's Easter for those who celebrate. And so there's a lot of undertones, that we talk about, the death of one thing and a rebirth and a renewal. Spring is when the flowers that were dormant and dead in the winter months are reemerging from the ground, and it's a new being, it's a new creation, it's a rebirth and a renewal. And so that's kind of what we're talking about today is death of one thing and birth of something new, or starting fresh with a new idea, or so just kind of segueing, like you say, hopping on my segue. But yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about today. Am I missing anything?
No, I think just a quick disclaimer. Look, fellas, we're not going to dive too deep into this, only because we want to give it away to you all. We want you to enjoy your weekend with your family, however you choose to celebrate it. It is Holy Week. Our Muslim brothers are out there on the second. We're recording on a Friday. This is their second Friday of Ramadan. Our Jewish brothers are celebrating, like you said, Passover. Those who subscribe to a Christian religion have a lot going on this week as well, with today being Good Friday. And then, of course, like you said, Easter and Resurrection Sunday. We wanted to throw out the concept to you guys, whatever it is you're pursuing, the concept of first you want to have that funeral. And it's your business, whatever that is, whatever the funeral is for, that's for you to fill in the blank on. And so, you may be scratching your head thinking, what does this have to do with F3? And I would argue pretty much everything. Something inside of you had to die the first day that you posted. And for me, to be very candid, that Friday night round of beers had to die. And I don't mean 2 beers, right? It was probably 6. When I wanted to be married, the single guy had to die. When I wanted to become a father, the date nights every single night and thinking about being a couple, that had to die. And what had to be reborn was a husband and wife who were going to be parents. And somewhere in there, the sad clown, right, slips back in. So how do we fend off, and how do we have a funeral for that sad clown to be the high impact men? And how do we go back to that bucket, right? And reclaim where we're headed so that we can accelerate. But again, I always argue sometime there has to be a funeral. I'd love to hear your thoughts. You're always eloquent in your tweets on things to reflect on. And this is a slightly bigger topic. I think it spans across our life versus maybe a moment. But what are your takeaways?
Yeah, when it comes to a rebirth, I think there are oftentimes multiple deaths and rebirths. You go through different seasons in your life. Like you mentioned several just in what you just said, you being a single man, being a married man, being a dad, giving up some of the sins of the flesh and saying, you know what, what's more important, that beer with my buddy, which there's nothing wrong with a beer with your buddy. But when the beer with your buddy turns into several hours and it takes away from what really matters, which is spending time with your shorties, the folks that really should be the center of your concentrica. But I think it's perfectly fine and fair to say that there are seasons in your life where, hey, maybe this is the season that you're giving up whatever that thing is. Maybe you've reached a season in your life where you want a career change. And there's a death to what you've done for 20 years. You say, you know what? It's not fulfilling. I'm not serving a purpose. I'm checking the box. Maybe it's time to start over. Every single morning in the gloom, there's a guy who's starting over with something in his life. Maybe he's decided today's the day that I'm going to get out of the fart sack. Today's the day that I'm going to do a mile, 2 miles, 5 miles, a half marathon. Maybe today is the day a guy says, I'm tired of being tired. I'm tired of being lazy. I'm tired of being X, Y, or Z. And he says, I'm going to start over. But that also means there are times in someone's life where he's focused entirely too much on his fitness. And he's realizing that my fellowship is not where it needs to be. My faith is not where it needs to be. It's cyclical. It's up. It's down. It's a circle. But a death and a rebirth is not a once in a lifetime thing. I mean, you can die to one thing and start something new. We see it every single day. And so I encourage the men listening, hey, if you feel like it's time for you to change streams by all means. To go that direction, make that step, because if you don't, you're going to sit back on it and say, why have I not progressed? It's because you got comfortable and stayed in your soft comfort zone. And that soft comfort zone does not stretch you, does not push you, does not make you better. You just keep doing the same things over and over again, and you get the same results. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
That's it. It's shout out to Goo Nation right there. And don't go it alone too. Make sure that, if nothing else, tomorrow when you're listening to this, grab a scrap piece of paper and a pen. Don't use a pencil because you can erase it. Use a pen because you at least have to go through the act of scratching it out. And write down 1, 2, 3 things that need the funerals that you need to have. What funerals in your life do you need to have? Whether it's avoiding a Grow Ruck event, whether it's to use your example, chasing down a 5-miler, whether it's stepping up to VQ and lead for the first time in a long time. Have that funeral and share that list with a trusted source, whether it's a Shield Lock or your Whetstone or just one of your closest buddies in the gloom. But don't do it by yourself. Allow yourself the accountability partner or your battle buddy in our parlance, and get after it. To use a modern example, Tiger Woods how many funerals has he had for his swings, right? I think he's on his 3rd or 4th, right? Obviously I don't follow golf, but I certainly have heard the stories of a professional athlete that somebody at the peak performance had to have a funeral and recreate and had a reborn reinvigoration. So think about that, write it down, be accountable to it, and then start getting after it. To quote Cadre Shredder, stop stopping. Stop stopping, put your foot on the gas and get after it.
On Wednesday, I queued a workout in Rock Hill, South Carolina called BTC, and it stands for Be the Change. And at that workout, the word, I was driving and I was thinking about easy feels good. I mean, I like easy, right? I mean, easy is that comfort zone. Easy feels good, but it's not going to get you where you want to be. Without commitment, you'll never start. Without consistency, you'll never finish. If it was easy, we wouldn't be an obese nation. If it was easy, we wouldn't have fatherless homes. So we can't let ease hinder our progress. So we've got to take that step to die to whatever that thing is. If you want to get better, if you want to change, you're never going to change staying right where you are because it's easy. And easy does not stretch you. One of the reasons we always encourage men to attend a Grow Ruck training event, a GTE, a Grow Ruck, a weekend like that. I don't know about you, TB, but for me, I need those refreshers and reminders. I need to be pushed past my perceived limitations. I need someone to say, I see you there, soccer arms. You're carrying a log and a sandbag. And guess what? You ain't doing it on your own. Tommy Boy's right there with you. he's going to be pushing right beside you. I need those reminders because without them, I stay comfortable and I can stand high and mighty and I can spout some great things that I can read on the interwebs. But I need someone to call me out and say, hey, brother, that sounds great, but what are you actually doing and how are you getting there? So those events, and when I said, you can have multiple deaths and rebirths, that's what I mean. You need to be reminded, and you need a man next to you who's going to remind you that, hey, brother, I need you to do a little bit more because I know you got it in you and you're not going to do it on your own.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite quotes I learned from listening to Dark Helmet, who picked it up from the CEO of the Spartan Runs. The life that you're seeking is hidden in the work that you're avoiding. And, for those of us who look to Easter as Resurrection Sunday, I would argue that you cannot truly understand the joy of Easter Sunday without experiencing the suffering of Good Friday. To complete a Grow Ruck event, you can't understand the joy of a 2x3-inch piece of fabric with some thread stitched into it without having suffered through the misery with your brothers of carrying that log, of being soaking wet, of the wind whipping around you, of wondering where in God's name the finish line is to this event. And it's at the end of the hard work. That's exactly where it is. That's the best direction we can tell you. There's no GPS setting. There's no watch component. There's no app that's going to get you there. It's one stupid foot in front of the other until the funeral's over, the march is done, and you have made it to the next phase of your acceleration. Notice I didn't say end. You don't ever get to the end. There is no end. We're not on a train ride to some station in the distance. And once we get there, everything is good. We arrive exactly where we need to be for the next beginning.
That's it, brother. I know this is a real short one for the guys who are listening, but like you said, there's men who are traveling right now. They're taking vacation with their families, and they may not have the time to listen to 30, 45 minutes. So we're going to keep this one pretty brief. TB, do you have anything else to add before I kind of run through the news of the nation from this morning?
Just to reiterate, grab that pen and paper, write it down, share it with somebody that loves you, and get after it. Other than that, man, take it away.
Hi. So this morning's News of the Nation, if you're not on it yet, go to the website, f3nation.com. You'll see a newsletter little tab you can tap on. If you can't find it, reach out to TB or myself. We'll get you copied and add to the newsletter. The first story is about the F3 Foundation, kind of a rebranding of the foundation. We're calling it F3 Foundation 3.0. In that, Scratch and Win tells us about the new mission, the new actions, the new pillars, and about the new grants that are upcoming. They're going to have about 50 grand to give away to accelerate local charitable impact in your community. So keep an eye on that F3 Foundation. You can reach out to Scratch and Win at john@f3-foundation.org, or you can find him on Twitter. But anyway, that's upcoming with the foundation. Sandlot Jacks is next weekend. There's still time to save 20%. So if you sign up for F3's, using F3's discount code, it's sandlotjacks.com, using the code sunshine, all caps, with an underscore F3. Again, that's all cap letters, and that'll save you 20%. It's a come and go as you please to all the different events. That's ongoing. There's a video in this week's newsletter where you can say, I keep hearing about it. What is it? You can click it. It's a 12-minute video to walk you through it. Expansion. We added a new region near Denver called Longmont. And I understand another one just came on board today, and you'll see in the next newsletter. We're serving about 60,500 men worldwide now. That's 242 regions, 5 continents, 3,199 free workouts. So we're almost at the 3,200 mark. Apparently, the Twitter account just rolled over 13,000 followers. So that's pretty cool. Grow Ruck is upcoming April 29th through May 1st. This one is in Nashville or Spring Hill, Tennessee, in that area. That one is upcoming. And this is the first time they have a third F element where they're raising some funds. And it's going to be helping the Usher syndrome, which is a genetic cause of death and blindness. You can read more about that. There's a new beatdown generator that came from the guys across the pond in the UK. Literally, you hit refresh and it tells you, all right, if you're going from X to Y, do this. And when you get there, do these exercises. And if you don't like it, hit refresh again. It'll generate additional exercises. So if the Q fart sacks, smart sacks, whatever happens, and now you're on it and you had nothing planned, pull out your phone and click on it. Again, you can find that in the newsletter, the link's there. Podcast rundown like normal. This week is Mammon for the Q Source. And the last piece is PAX Picks, where we kind of call it a region, something we see online. The guys in Fort Mill, South Carolina raised $52,000 that supported 4 different local charities, the St. Jude's Dream Home, 809 Foundation, Hometown Heroes, and they also had scholarships for the 3 local high schools in Fort Mill, South Carolina. And it all started with these guys saying, hey, we're going to run this Dam to Dam. That's a fun event that we do each year, but also we're going to raise some funds and we're going to give back. So $52,000 raised by the boys in Fort Mill, South Carolina. So good on you. That's the newsletter. That's what's going on in the news in the nation. I feel like I'm on one of those high school closed circuit television and sending it back to you there, Tommy boy. But anyway, that's what's going on, brothers. We're always honored to spend some time with you guys and thrilled that you guys listen in. We're going to have some upcoming stuff, but we're always looking for new ideas for stuff worth trying for the podcast. So reach out to us on the Slack channel, the Stuff Worth Trying Slack channel, or SWF3SWT on Twitter. But reach out to us. We've got something planned for next week, but we've got openings in the coming weeks. So reach out and let us know what you got going on. And we'd love to have you on here to share your news and share what's going on, to have other regions pick up on it. But always looking for more ideas. Tommy boy, I love you, man. Happy Holy Week. Enjoy some time with the family, and we'll get back at it next week. How's that sound?
Love you too, brother. PAX Nation, be good and be good at it.